Okay, we're recording again. Sorry, guys. The deadline to register to vote online is 19th October, but you can always register to vote in person, but you will get a conditional ballot, which heightens the chance that you're not going to have your vote counted that year. There are free flu shots available till December. I know of a few places that have it available. Loaves and Fishes is one. And I will send a link in the chat in a second that has the full list of places that have free or low cost flu shots. Oh, okay. Yes, we have those 5 committees that were formed at the Student Advisory Committee. Basic Needs, Black Lives Matter Task Force, Legislative Affairs, Student Services, and Communications. So we're looking for a point person from each of our 4 colleges to head up to be our representative for that committee. So please let me know if you're interested, and we can get you on that. They're all relatively new. Actually, they're super new. So it will be a learning process, but I think it's going to be a really great experience. So I'd recommend you guys check that out. I'm really excited about it. I think that's all I have for chair message. So Hannah, if you have anything, you don't have to say anything since you're kind of being thrown in the deep end here, but moving on to advisor message. You're muted right now.
Do you know how many meetings I lead? And I'm constantly like, we're never going to get past this. You're on mute. You're on mute. And now I'm doing it. So geez. Good morning, everybody. I'm really honored to be here. My name is Hannah Blodgett. I am the Interim Director of Educational Services at our district office. So a lot of what I do in my role is supporting our categorical programs like EOPS, DSPS, CalWorks, a lot of our programs that support a disproportionately impacted students. So I do a lot of work on that end and other special projects as they come up that support our students district-wide. Before this role, I was the student life supervisor at Folsom Lake College. So I absolutely love getting to interact with students, and I really missed it being at district office. I don't get to see students nearly as much as I'd love. So I bring a lot of energy. I apologize if that's a little overwhelming sometimes, and I'm on like cup of coffee number 3, but I'm really honored to be here today to hear from all of you and just to kind of get to advise and watch you all in action. It's just a real honor, and Brett had wonderful things to say about this group. So we met yesterday just to kind of debrief, and it just sounds like you guys are just an incredible group of rockstar students. So I'm really, again, honored to be here. He shared a few reminders, so I'm going to go through those with everybody right now, just kind of tips to remember. He shared, it sounds like people were assigned to shared governance committees or appointed last week or the week before last. So if you've been assigned or appointed and you haven't heard from the chair of your shared governance committee, be sure to notify Brett, and he will reach out to the chair to ensure that you have all of the meeting information you need to be able to successfully attend and participate in those meetings. He also wanted to share a reminder about Zoom chat. So just be really mindful if you are utilizing the Zoom chat, it's a violation of the Brown Act if you are doing any kind of sidebar conversations, particularly around how you're going to vote on different matters. So just be really, really mindful of that as you're engaging in Zoom chat, that you can't do any kind of dialogue with other committee members or other board members about how you're going to cast a vote, or kind of having those more private conversations, because we have to be really transparent in how we reach the decisions that we do. If possible, I always love cameras on, and so we'd love to see your smiling faces, but I also know that there are situations in which it's just not an opportune time to have your camera on. So if you're comfortable having it on, we'd love to see you and come to the shiny camera light, but no pressure if not. So again, just know that there's understanding if you aren't able to do that or aren't in a situation right now where that is an option for you. It sounds like Amy is potentially taking minutes today, so huge thank you to Amy for doing that. Just some reminders about taking minutes, just that are hopefully helpful. You don't have to capture everything in the minutes. Just remember to only record the motions, who seconded the motions, how the voting goes, but not necessarily who said what in discussions. And then Let's see. Also, a reminder to seek recognition from the chair if you wish to speak. And remember that you can't really have dialogue as you're engaging or as we're speaking to the chair. Remember, all comments have to be directed to Naomi. Sometimes it's challenging to not want to respond to somebody directly when they've shared thoughts or comments. So just remember, seek permission from the chair, Naomi, to speak, and to direct all comments to Naomi as we move through today's meeting. So that's it. Whole lot from me. I'm going to stop talking now. I'm here if you have questions, and I'm excited to be here. So thank you. I'm going to mute myself with that.
Thank you, Hannah. With that, we'll be moving on to public comment. This time was reserved for members of the public to address the Student Senate on issues not already appearing on the agenda. A limit of 2 minutes per speaker shall be observed with a maximum of 4 minutes per topic. No discussion is allotted on public comment. The law does not permit for any action to be taken nor extended discussion on any items not in the agenda. The ASB Student Senate may briefly respond to statements made for questions posed. However, for further information, please contact the ASB Student Senate President for the item of discussion to be placed on a future agenda. Okay. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to make a comment? Okay. Hearing and seeing none, we will move on to appointments and swearing in. Okay, we do have a few, so let me grab my notes real quick. One that we do have is Amy to the position of Director of Communications. Oh no, I don't have my, oh shoot. Sorry, scrolling through my notes. I know there's a statement here that I'm supposed to read. Sorry, this has been a kind of crazy week.
Chair, I can send it to you real quick.
Thank you, Mark. Let's see, ASB. Mark, we appointed you already to the governance committee, so that's old news. Okay, then it's just Amy. Amy to Director of Communications. Thank you, Amy. It's really exciting to have someone there. Okay. This kind of is the awkward part. Gotta wait for the, sorry guys. I'll be more prepared next time.
Oh.
Okay.
Naomi, if you want to, we can go ahead and go, and I'll find it and send it to you. We can jump back.
You know what? That is a good idea. Okay, we'll be skipping this for time being and moving back to this later. Moving on to unfinished business. We have none, so we'll be moving on to new business, and that leads us to our first item under new business. That's 10.1, the Student Government Discord server. Read. Can I get a motion to discuss this?
Oh, have we moved on to new business? Okay, I moved to discuss the creation of a Discord server, and I'm acting as Makito right now, but I do know that Mark would like to speak on that, so may I request that you refer that to him?
We need a second for that first.
Got it.
I second it.
Perfect, okay. So Reed, you've given up your opportunity to speak first. Mark, do you want to say anything on that?
Yeah, it kind of caught me off guard, so I should like it. So Discord, yeah, so definitely want to try to introduce Discord into our communication server. It's an easy and accessible way to share files, data, and stuff like that. So I know that was something that we tried on CABE. We briefly discussed it last semester, so I want to make sure to see if we can fully go into effect with it this semester. That's about it. If anybody has any questions, ask Naomi, and Naomi can ask me.
So Discord server, we actually have one with the Student Advisory Committee. So that's with all the 4 colleges, right? The president of the Student Senate for all the 4 colleges. It's pretty new, but what it looks like right now is there are 3 levels. There's a public comment section, there's like the student leadership section, and then there's the executive section. So it has that level of what's available to everyone. Last semester, I know there are a lot of folks new this year, but last year, we tried out a couple of different services. We tried out Slack briefly, and we tried out Trello. And neither really caught on. So we're looking for some way that we can become more organized, especially you know, with the current situation, it's going to be very necessary. We're not seeing each other every week, and we're not seeing each other, talking to each other like we did before. So having this kind of coordination is, I think, really important. So I'm really excited about this Discord idea. And this has been so far spearheaded by Nick, like Reed said, but he cannot be here today. So thank you, Reed, for making the motion, bringing us into discussion. Okay. I heard chair, but I didn't see who said it.
It's Sulai.
Go ahead, Sulai.
I just wanted to say from personal experience this semester, I've used Discord for my Chem 401 class, and it's a very easy way to communicate with like all my classmates and for us to like collaborate. And I think it'd be beneficial for us rather than doing everything through email and only meeting on Fridays. We can probably have more thorough discussions through something like Discord.
Right. The problem with there also, what was brought up last year with Slack anyway, was that we need to be very transparent on everything. And Hannah brought that up in her chair message, was that we need to be in compliance with the Brown Act. So we can't really discuss anything that's on the agenda or any plans on how we vote, anything like that on Slack, but on Discord. But there are a lot of ways that you can still find, you can still be effective without breaking that Brown Act. So just adding that there.
Chair, may I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Are we going to create a master Discord account with subchannels out of it, committee channels, groups out of it, or are we going to have each committee create their own Discord channel?
We have not figured it out. We can totally discuss that during our section right now.
Okay.
So if you want to go over that more, let me.
Yeah, just
and
my
I don't
suggestion
really.
would be. Yeah, my suggestion would be just to create a master Discord under ASB, and then we can subgroup it out so that way you as the president of Student Senate can monitor it, can basically go in and oversee it and look at it. If there's no objections with that, I think that would probably be the best way to do it. Yeah, that's just my suggestion.
Okay, I'm not completely familiar with Discord. So there's subgrouping. You're talking about the different channels?
Correct.
Okay,
Chair,
go ahead.
I totally agree with Mark's point. I think that would be like the best plan to go, just so everyone can see, what's going on. If you need any help with Discord, I can definitely show you around. They have like a lot of the things that my group does. We all do it on Discord and stuff like that. So there's a lot of experience there. I think a lot of students use it. Like every student I've encountered has been using it recently. So I think that is a great route versus the other previous routes in the previous years. This is probably the one that's going to succeed the most.
Yeah, I agree. I think this it's greater access to students since more students are familiar with this program than Slack and Trello. So, totally agree there. Go ahead, Reed.
Madam Chair, if this discussion is over, could I move to discuss creating a student government canvas shell?
Do we want to allocate this to do we want to pass this on to the Public Relations Committee, this specifically, or do we want to discuss it more here?
Sure, I can move to refer this to the PR committee, yeah.
I think that's probably the easiest. And if anybody else is interested in joining the PR committee, we're totally looking for membership right now. It's just Reed, myself, Nick chairing, and Aisha from CAPE. So if you're really interested in any of creating this, Sasha, I'm looking at you right now. Please come and join our Public Relations Committee.
Chair, if you can add me, I'd like to be added to the PR committee, please.
Awesome. Okay, when we move back to appointments, we can do that.
Did you receive my swearing-in statement?
Oh yes, I did. I thank you, Mark. I did receive the swearing-in ceremony statement. Okay, so Reed moved. Okay, let's go backtrack this. Reed moved to refer this to the committee. We need a second for that.
I second.
Perfect. Okay, so then it is referred to committee. Afsoon, I see your hand is up.
Oh,
Is
I
that-
just, yeah, I just wanted to ask you if I could be added to the PR department subcommittee. Thank you.
Perfect. So
Thank you.
Mark and Afsoon and Sasha. Yes, no, you don't feel pressured, okay? I promise I'm not super pressured.
Can I be added to the PR committee?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect. Okay. Sorry if you feel pressured. I'm sorry. Okay. With that, we will move on to student government course. Before I want to do that before moving back to the appointments and swearing in. So student government course. That's our next item on the agenda.
Got it. I move to discuss creating a student government canvas shell. Can I get a second?
I second it.
Thank you.
Perfect. It has been moved and seconded to discuss that. Reed, if you want to say something about that on behalf of Nick.
Okay, yes, I am definitely speaking on behalf of Nick. This is all his idea. We had been discussing the idea of creating a course, a student Senate course online that would have, meeting times, scheduling, event planning, and so on and so forth, and then particularly a training module for those new to Student Senate. And yes, that would be just very beneficial, make things a lot more streamlined. And yeah, I would also like to refer this, I'd move to refer this to the PR committee, this task as well. That's all right.
I think I want folks to have the opportunity to discuss this more before moving on to directly moving that towards the Public Relations Committee. Yeah. And Mark, I know you have talked before about creating a canvas shell. So is there something you want to say about this?
Yes, I've actually I oversee 2 canvas shells right now. Canvas shell, as we all know, students, is one of the most actively involved things that we research every day on a daily habit. I think that'd be just same thing as like Discord. Discord, we'd actually have to log in and go search our channels and stuff. But Canvas shell, as a students, we're already involved in Canvas. It's very easy to upload onto. It's very easy to look at and navigate through. So I think that would be a very smart idea to create a ASB Canvas shell. And I can help oversee it and look at it and help run it.
Thank you, Mark. Austin, I see your hand up again. I don't know if that's from before still or it's a new one.
Oh no, I just again wanted to say I think it's a great idea, given that the calendar function, just like Reed was mentioning on behalf of Nick, is going to keep everybody on track of where they are, and we can sort of post things for everybody to see. Again, not to go over the Brown Act and sort of break that law, but things that are relevant, or maybe we need to discuss, or we can post within that time limit, but we all have access to it, and then we can all go to our subcommittees within that. So I just wanted to say, I think it's a great idea if we could try that also on top of Discord. Thank you.
Thank you, Austin. Go ahead, Mark.
The only issue or concern that I have with Canvas shell is that it's not it's not publicly accessible. That's the only concern that I have. You have to be sent an invite. So if this is going to be more of an internal communication platform like Canvas and Discord is a public entity, and it is open to the public. That's going to be my only concern. If we're going to be using a Canvas shell as more of an internal communication thing, then yes, that works. But if we were going to try to make it publicly accessible, then I think that's where we're going to have an issue. So that was my only concern about the Canvas shell. So if anybody else wants to speak on that, then please.
May I ask a question? It's sort of like a question to ask a question and answer a question. So, and this is because I'm still new to the format and to the training, but again, don't senators, even at different levels within the government, have maybe communications with each other, not behind the scene, but within the halls and within the rooms, and then they, you know, make it public to the crowd. So I understand what we were saying about the Brown Act, and we can't discuss things out of the eye of the public without bringing it to their attention and getting a vote on it. But maybe having Canvas again would sort of, I'm looking at it as a way to keep us all accountable and on time and help us all do our projects within committees that we are all serving. But I'm just curious in terms of, shouldn't we be allowed to somewhat communicate with each other on a semi-private platform as well, as long as we make everything transparent to the public within the due amount of time?
Thank you. That's a good point. So the way I understand Brown Act is that we are allowed to discuss, but we're not allowed to discuss what is on the agenda. We can't discuss plans on how we're going to vote. But I mean, obviously we can discuss things like, okay, if we have a project, we need to discuss how to work on it. You know, that, you know, we're going to need something to do that, you know, that is definitely allowed as far as I know. It's more of a kind of like behind the scenes sneaky politicking kind of stuff, where you're trying to sway how people are going to vote. Austin, I see your hand up again. I'm not sure.
Naomi,
No,
that
I'm
was a
sorry,
good
I think at this point is stuck. but
I'm
you
not
answered
sure
my
who's
question.
speaking right now.
Oh, it's
Okay,
Austin.
I'm good. Sounds good. Hannah, were you speaking just a second ago?
Just think it was a good summary. So you can use hubs. We used Google Drive because it was just something that came with all of the Los Rios. Everybody had access to it, so nobody had to download anything. Same, Canvas would be another really good tool. So as long as it's kind of in a spot where you're like, if you're working on a project or a presentation or a flyer, everybody has access to that piece. So when you're doing the actual work, I think as long as you're coming and reporting on your work at the meetings and being really apparent about, like, we worked on XYZ, here's how we came to that conclusion. But it's really more of the, like, trying to discuss an agenda item behind the scenes where you're talking about how you feel about it or how you're going to vote about it. That's what violates Brown Act. So so it's absolutely appropriate, you know, some of these common hubs where you're storing common information or common projects, like there are all sorts of things you can use those for. But I was just commenting, you did a good job of summarizing kind of the Brown Act violation, what's kind of risky, Naomi, when you were doing that. So it's just kind of trying to, you're right.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. So we have these two things that we're talking about, and I wish I know Nick's kind of busy right now, so he wasn't able to talk more about this, but he's the one who's really spearheading these two projects. So the Discord and the student government course. And the way, how he brought it up to myself and Reed before it was on the agenda, was that the Discord was more of a informal discussion tool, which is usually what it's used for, and that the Canvas won't be really for discussion, but it will be a place for resources and specifically training. So for a lot of you, like we've had a few trainings, but as everybody knows here, those few trainings are definitely not enough to really encompass everything that you need to know as being as a member of Student Senate. So like Brown Act, parliamentary procedure, all of that. There'd be resources that are available on that Canvas shell that could kind of fill in some of the gaps we get from the that are left after the trainings.
Chair.
So I see some head nods.
Chair.
Go ahead, Sasha.
So Canvas is like our more professional kind of formal put together, you know, sphere versus Discord's like the more informal, like we can have conversations and have discussions and things like that on there, you know? So is that how Nick was he was kind of seeing it as?
I don't want to speak for Nick, but that is how I understood what he was saying. Yeah.
Chair.
Okay.
I heard the chair. I didn't see who said it though.
Sulai.
Go ahead, Sulai.
So I know Canvas has a lot of discussion tools, like you can create discussion threads. So I just feel like if we did end up going through with both of them, it would just be a little bit redundant, and it would just be adding 2 extra places we would have to be checking. I like both ideas. I think if we did one or the other would be good, but I feel like doing both, like I said, might be a little redundant. And obviously, Nick isn't here to really talk about it, so I'll probably ask him.
Right. So I would think on the Canvas shell, we would be leaving some of those discussion tools out, because that's not really what we've been what we'd be using the Canvas tool for. It wouldn't be a place for discussion, more of a hub for information, as I understand it. Is there any other comment on this? Discussion? Questions? Concerns?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So Discord and the Canvas shell, like Hannah was speaking about accessing Google Drive, and I know I've mentioned Google Drive before. Canvas already has that interlink into Google Drive, so I feel that Canvas, believe it or not, outweighs our hub of resources, as they were saying. So I would strongly feel that the Canvas shell would be probably the best avenue for us to explore into deep, more and kind of check it out.
Okay. Thank you, Mark.
Okay. If discussion is over, I'd like to move to refer this task to the BR committee. Is that good? Second?
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Great. It's been moved and seconded to refer this topic to the Public Relations Committee. With that, we will be moving on. You know what? Actually, I was going to say we're going to move on to resolution bill writing workshop, but I want to go back to appointments right now. So can I? So I need a. Okay, so I would like to move back to appointments, and I need to make sure that if there's no objections, we'll be moving on to appointments and swearing in. Okay, hearing and seeing none, we're moving back to appointments and swearing in. Okay, right. We have Sasha and Mark and Afsoon, who all want to be appointed to the Public Relations Committee. So yay, you guys all appointed. And then Amy, you will be appointed to the Director of Communications position. Yay, okay, so we got to do our swearing in statement for you. So Amy, you there still?
Yes.
Yes,
Hi.
perfect. I'm gonna ask you to repeat after me.
Okay.
I state your name.
I, Amy Nguyen,
Do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
to uphold the Los Rios Community College
to uphold the Los Rios Community College
district policies and regulations,
district policies and regulations,
the American River College Associated Body Constitution,
the American River College Associated Body Constitution,
K bylaws,
K bylaws,
and to perform all my stated duties herein.
and to perform all my stated duties herein.
Yay! Okay, you're appointed to Director of Communications position, which I'm so happy about that we have that appointment filled in. Okay. Moving on, we're going to be moving back now to item 10.3, which is incorrectly marked on the agenda as 10.2, resolution and bill writing workshop.
That mean?
Okay.
Hi everyone. Sorry if I look a little burnt, because I am. I was up till 4 a.m. watching the CSAC meeting, which is extremely dry. Naomi, can I please?
Go ahead, Jacob.
Did I screen share?
Oh, screen share. Do you not have access to it? Is it not giving access?
It's disabled right now.
Okay, allow participants. Try now.
Okay, thank you.
Yay.
So this is just going to be a little bit of information on how to write a resolution in a bill. So we'll start with the resolution. Let's go with this one here. So this is just a little resolution I wrote up but have not submitted. So basically, you want to start off with the whereas. You just want to do some good persuasive information that you might be able to, refer to if you're speaking about this. Usually, if you're doing like, a resolution, that's something that is different than this. You would usually want to include some data or something that you searched up. I usually use Google. Google Scholar is a really good way to get information that is fact checked. And well, of course you have to fact check it yourself, but you know what I'm trying to say. I'm burnt. And another good thing to usually quote is I usually try and find a statement or two from either the bylaws or the Constitution that would kind of back up what you're trying to do, because it's always good to have something that says this is in our mission statement to achieve goals such as this. So this one really says it would be beneficial to ARC to have student voice immediately available in meetings. It would be beneficial to academic and classified senates. Student reps would provide more leadership opportunities and would be able to facilitate closer relationships with the shared governance community. And then so you go in your whereas and you want to be really specific about what you want to do. And some of the smaller details, like where it has to be specified, stuff like that. Like this, for example, would be a restraint, so that we have the students only, commenting on matters that are, really important. So that was kind of more to just like say, we're only going to be commenting on stuff that matters, to try and provide a little bit of a bargaining chip to say, we're not just going to be in your meetings, taking up all your time and just talking your ear off. And then this would be, say, like, we want to maybe have them submit a report after doing this if we appointed representatives. And this resolved states that we would have to actively advocate for the student representatives, because that's just something we don't have right now and would have to go through a little bit of bureaucracy to get. So that's kind of basically the resolution. It's fairly simple stuff. The first resolved is be it resolved. The second and on is be it further resolved. There's a therefore before the after the whereas and before the resolved. I think we have a template for this, right, Naomi?
Yes, we have a template posted on the website under, I think it's under resources.
Yeah, so just take the template and you just kind of, the whereas is just all your supporting information, all your facts, all your, all that good stuff. And then the be it resolved is just all the specifics that you want to get into. So moving on from resolutions, we also have bills. Let's see. Let's do the bill from lobby day. So in the bill, normally you don't include the 72 number or where the money is coming from. Usually the president, advisor, or ledge analyst will do this. You want to also leave this blank because you don't know when the president is going to put this on the agenda, but you do want to put your name, any co-sponsors, and then you write down the motion that you would like to seek. Just like if you were, say, in the meeting and making a motion, you just write that down verbatim. And additional information, this is where you would put, like, for example, your whereas statement. This is more like the whereas statement, where this is more like the resolved statement, except obviously you only get one motion. And this one, you just want to provide any supporting information, any stuff like that that would help your cause and make it a more persuasive argument. And then you can also refer back to it if you're debating this motion. You can use this information to help you and try and get your bill passed. So try and keep it short and sweet. If there's any comments, I'd take them now. But other than that, that's basically all I have.
Chair.
Go ahead, Sasha.
How long would it take to write one of these resolutions, would you say typically?
So it really depends on what you're trying to do. If it's something like just writing down student representatives, that really only took me 5-10 minutes. But if you're doing something more complicated, like for example, we all know the Get Involved, Get Relief project that I've been working on, that resolution took longer, took maybe 20 minutes, but there was a lot of back and forth between me and the co-author Muzamil on how to do this correctly and what we wanted to see in it, and fact checking and grammar checking each other. So there's a little bit of back and forth if you have a co-author, but it doesn't take too long. It shouldn't take longer than 30 minutes to write any resolution.
Sounds good. Thank you.
There is also, I just want to let you know, there's also a template for the bill under the same location as the resolution on the website. Any other questions for Jacob or anyone?
Chair.
Go ahead.
So a question for you. Do you know if we're going to be making a workshop or creating a workshop on, because I'm the Cape president, so I really wouldn't be writing too many resolutions, but I would love to definitely get more info on it. So do you know if we're going to be creating some type of like workshop or event or anything?
This is right now what we have scheduled for like a resolution writing workshop, but if you do want information, obviously you can, more information, you can obviously talk to me one-on-one. You can set up a Zoom call and try to work on that together. We don't have currently anything else planned for another workshop.
I know we briefly did like a training at the very beginning, and I was just wondering maybe if some senators or anything like that, other senators would like to, as well as myself, kind of put something together, just kind of go over the resolution writing and stuff like that. So that's why I was checking to see if there's, or if possibly we could set up a just a mini, 20-30 minute workshop.
It can definitely be added to the, are you thinking something on the agenda or outside of a student senate meeting?
It can be outside of the agenda. It doesn't have to be necessarily into where everybody, unless there's some senators or other individuals that want to, learn a little bit more than possibly put on the agenda. But my main thing is be outside of the agenda, my suggestion.
Okay. We will look into that. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks.
Anything else about resolutions and bill writing?
Sure.
Go ahead, Sasha.
So resolutions are like bigger items, and then bills are smaller things we're trying to pass. Is that correct?
The way I've thought about bills and resolutions is bills tend to be monetary in nature, while resolutions can apply to monetary things, like the get involved, get relief. We had, or did we have? I think we had both the resolution and bill for that, as from what I recall, where the actual passing of the funds was done on the bill, but the further in-depth information about the event, about lots of things, like the further in-depth information was on the resolution.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent job. I was just going to add too, that was great, Naomi. And usually a resolution is the stance that a body is going to take on either an issue or action that they're going to commit to, or a request that they're going to make. So another way of kind of thinking about a resolution versus a bill, but that was fabulous, Naomi. So just going to add another piece to that. But great job.
Anything else about resolutions and bills? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we will move on to committee reports. I know there are a couple of committees that met this week, so
Is that me?
go ahead, Jacob.
Okay. So Constitution amendments, I believe we went over this last time. We want to possibly, consolidate ASB and kind of change up the organization a bit based off of recommendations from Folsom's own Andrew Nickens. And then let's see, basic needs met. I talked with the scholarship office, got some information, and we are starting to begin the fundraising process. The work groups will meet and work on working that out with the Office of Philanthropy. It's a kind of complicated process, and fundraising seems to be kind of difficult. So thank you, Sulai, for taking on that responsibility of trying to get those and leading the work group. And thank you to everyone else who's working on that stuff.
Thank you, Jacob. This week, we also had the Public Relations Committee that met, and we were discussing the creation of a newsletter for Student Senate, or for actually for student government as a whole. We kind of changed, our plans changed during the meeting. We decided against having a full-blown kind of newsletter. What we're looking more towards, what we're leaning towards doing right now is kind of a blog feed on our website where we can have smaller snippets of information that show up on the homepage and then can lead to further articles that are written there. And then possibly collaborating with either the current or the damn good news that was started. I think that's mainly what we talked about at the Public Relations Committee. Reed, if you have anything to say, you can say that. And then another committee that met, not a Student Senate committee, but is the ARC Basic Needs Work Group. So that is campus-wide, and Brett and Mark were both there. They talked about a lot of things. One thing I wanted to bring up from that is that that task force had asked if they could do a kind of drive-in food delivery like Sierra College is doing. And I know a lot of folks in Student Senate have expressed interest in having events like that on campus. Unfortunately, when they brought it towards administration, they were given a pretty solid no. And that was on the food delivery. That was also on having our own flu vaccine on campus. So yeah, it is unlikely that any of the ideas that we have talked about in the past that we want to have on campus are going to get are going to receive a different answer. Yep, sad face. Yeah. I think that's mainly what we talked about. I'll say one other thing. Brett, he's right now been acting as the housing liaisons officer. I think you guys know that. He is taking over from someone who had recently vacated the position. So his plate is pretty full, and he talked a lot about that at the meeting. So this is not like an official committee report, but it was pretty jarring to hear what some of the stuff he has to take on. So yeah. I think that's all for committee reports I have. If there's anybody else who went to a committee, that can be your shared governance committees that you're on, or yeah, shared governance committees that you're on, now's your time to shine.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Do you have any updates, like any positive updates from that basic needs committee, or is it just flat no? Do we have a workaround or anything we're thinking of?
Are you for the campus, for having stuff happen on campus?
Or some drive, like some sort of help thing we could do?
Yes, there was something which I am planning on emailing. There's Anna Radu who's working with the Beavers Food Pantry, and I was gonna get back to her, but she has some information that she'd like passed around the campus. So once I get that, I can bring it at the next Senate meeting. We can pass that around.
Sounds good.
Chair,
Go ahead, Jacob.
forgot to add that the Affordable Learning Materials Committee has been working. We're working on sending out a campus-wide survey to figure out what teachers are employing open educational resources, which lowers costs of classes by making the courses as well as the books totally free, so that lowers things a bit, and it makes things cheaper for the students and cheaper for the school. And then at the Chancellor's Cabinet meeting, nothing really happened that much. We just talked about what had been going on since the pandemic, what had been going well, what can we improve on, stuff like that. And the main focus was just communication is key to get through the pandemic.
Cool, thank you. Executive Leadership Committee will actually be meeting this Monday. So if there's anything you guys want them to hear. If you don't know, Executive Leadership Committee meets with all the presidents from the different areas on campus. So the academic president, student senate president, CAPE president, and the classified president with the different project leadership teams, the different deans, and the college president, so Thomas Green. And Nick Daly will be there, so you remember him from last week, our new Dean of Equity and Inclusion. So that will be on Monday. So we do make a report as Student Senate, so if there's anything you want to be reported there, please let me know. I know the Student Advisory Committee will also be meeting soon, and on the agenda, supposedly will be our idea to combine CABE and Student Senate. So that will be going there. Okay, hearing no other committee reports, we will move on to board member reports and announcements. Does anyone want to make a board member report or an announcement?
Chair.
Go ahead, Mark.
So just to let you know, on CABE's end, we had a mental health meeting, community meeting. I probably could have given it to you in community reports, but we are actively working on creating some events this month. So I will be sending an email out soon, as soon as we meet back up again, to kind of give more in-depth detail on what we want to do. We're basically going to do like an October self-care month. I'll be working with Hannah Whipple and a couple other individuals from the district to try to create some mental health resources, accessibility, make sure that it's fully accessible to the students. I know the district has, as they stated, purchased units for mental health staff, licensed mental health staff. So I got to find out more in-depth detail on what that entails. If we can publicize it to the students, or is it going to be more of a student, and if a student reaches out, then we refer them that way. So I got to get some more details on that. CABE is also actively going to be working on the newsletter. I think, like you said, we were going to combine that into one. So that'll be awesome with that. Aisha, the vice president, is actively working on that. So that's all I have for board member reports for CABE.
Tony, she'll be at your next CABE meeting, right?
Right. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yes, Tony, the student trustee, will be at my October 6th meeting. So if everybody could please join that meeting October 6th, I'll make sure I send an agenda out and a link out to ASB. Thanks for reminding me.
Let's see, any other board member reports or announcements? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we'll move on to public comment. This time is reserved for members of the public to address the Student Senate on issues not already appearing on the agenda. A limit of 2 minutes per speaker shall be observed with a maximum of 4 minutes per topic. No discussion is allotted on public comment. The law does not permit any action to be taken nor extend discussion of any items not on the agenda. The ASB Student Senate may briefly respond to statements made. For questions posed, however, for further information, please contact the ASB Student Senate President for the item of discussion to be placed on a future agenda. Okay, is there anyone from the public who wishes to make a comment? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we will move on to adjournment, which is usually everybody's favorite. So if there are no objections, this meeting will be adjourned at 11:29.
Yay.
Okay, meeting adjourned. Jacob, go back to bed.
Bye,
all.
everyone.
Great job.
Pause recording.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Bye.